Hello, we are Carly Bull, Mary Claire Durocher, and Mary O'Sullivan, and we are presenting on Wong Kar-wai's Dreamworld. Following this presentation, please enjoy our short film of our own Dreamworld. Wong Kar-wai is an internationally recognized Hong Kong film director. He was born in Shanghai, China, and moved to Hong Kong when he was 5 years old. Wong Kar-wai belongs to the second new wave of Hong Kong filmmakers, who developed innovative and aesthetically pleasing films beginning in the mid-1980s. This group of directors created films that were inspired by the social and political issues facing Hong Kong during this time. Hong Kong citizens faced a lot of uncertainty when Britain handed Hong Kong over to China in 1984, causing filmmakers to examine their relationship with China and explore themes of identity and stability. The second New Wave filmmakers were also influenced by the drive for new artistic energy. Wong Kar-wai is known for his striking visual aesthetics that bring to life the mood, sentiments, and atmosphere rather than the plot of his films. His films are linked to both history and personal memories, and prominent themes in his films include love, loneliness, alienation, desire, space, and time.
Wong Kar-wai has three related movies that we will be referring to as the Dreamworld trilogy. Days of Being Wild is the first film in this trilogy. It follows the story of Yudi, who discovers he's adopted and tailspins out of control. He lets two women fall for him, but both relationships end dramatically. The women both confide in other men, who in turn then fall for them. Yudi ends up finding out who his real mother is and leaves for Vietnam just to have her refuse to see him at the door. In the Mood for Love, Su Li Jen and Chow Mo Wan find themselves relating on many levels. The unlikely pair are neighbors, share the love for noodles, and enjoy martial arts series. As they become friends, they realize their spouses are cheating on them with each other. This only brings the couple closer, although they swear to never be unfaithful or consummate their relationship. 2046 is the final movie in this loosely connected trilogy. This is a story that follows Chow Mo Wan and his failed relationships with women, as he writes a sci-fi thriller called 2046. 2046 portrays a mysterious dreamland of lost memories, and Chow Mo Wan was the only person to ever return from it.
In Wong Kar-wai's Dreamworld trilogy, the instability and restlessness of Hong Kong in the early 1960s poses problems for the characters. During this time, Hong Kong was a British colony, but there was tension due to the social and political unrest around the world, including the threat of the spread of communism, inspiring the Cold War, and China's support for the communist regime during the Vietnam War. Many Hong Kong residents believed it was in their best interest to leave Hong Kong. This unrest influenced Wong in his creation of a nostalgic 1960s Hong Kong in the Dreamworld trilogy, where he depicts the transience of life and the lack of permanence in the world he creates. Consequently, Wong acknowledges the significance of history for the Hong Kong citizens who are constantly in transition, resulting in characters who are struggling with modernity and their identity.
In all three of these films, Wong follows turbulent figures. None of his characters stay in one geographic place for long. Yudi, for example, is often in transit. The characters in the Mood for Love move to and from adjacent apartments, and in 2046, the entire plotline is based around going to and returning from 2046. In addition, almost all of the potential romantic relationships fail. There are missed opportunities, messy breakups, and most of the men are womanizers. The motif of a bird without legs that dies when it lands is strung through the trilogy. This represents the men in Days of Being Wild and 2046 as men who are unable to stay in relationships. They fight and force themselves into a sort of freedom, which eventually brings their demise. Through unhappiness and death, they reject any stability and slowly fall apart, unable to capture the fleeting memories.
One of the major themes in Wong's trilogy is the inevitability of time. The characters constantly obsess over dates, times, memories, and lost opportunities, such as the first minute of 3 o'clock on April 1st in 1960 in Days of Being Wild. These obsessions focus on past events, indicating the characters' desire to stop or reverse time and their inability to do so. Wong displays this theme of entrapment by time through his use of framing and shadows. The characters are often shot through a tight frame, such as through a window or the iron of a fence, or they have a cage-like shadow cast across them. Additionally, many shots show smoke drifting from a cigarette, symbolizing that, just like smoke, time is ungraspable. Wong also uses slow motion to accentuate certain scenes. For example, in the Mood for Love, when the two protagonists pass each other on alleyway steps, time slows down as they again and again pass up the opportunity to express their feelings for one another. Wong appears to respond to the inevitability of time through his art by creating his own personal dream world in his films. By dream world, I mean that he recreates a time and place that he is nostalgic for, his childhood in Hong Kong in the 1960s. This was a time, as previously mentioned, that was particularly turbulent for Hong Kong and were likely very formative years for Wong. His movies accomplished this task by using characteristic costume, decor, and music from the 1960s and neighboring decades. Most scenes include motifs that many citizens of China and Hong Kong can relate to, such as Maggie Cheung's Cheongsam, allowing them to experience their own memories and dream world in his art as well. Thus, Wong is able to find a loophole in the inevitability of time by simply recreating his past and augmenting them to fit the nature of his memories. To deepen our understanding of Wong's dream world and the cinematic techniques he uses to achieve it, we created our own dream world short film. We portrayed a nostalgia for a simpler time, our own childhoods in the 1990s and early 2000s through era-specific music and costume. We created an ambiance in our film with a purple tint, slow motion, and soft dreamlike scenes. We communicate the entrapment of time and opportunities lost with tight framing of shots, showing the protagonist through windows, mirrors, railings, and other unconventional angles. The phone, clocks, and watches loom in many scenes, communicating an anxiety of passing time and waiting. Additionally, the motif of ungraspable objects such as drifting smoke, perfume spray, and floating eyeshadow symbolizes time slipping through the protagonist's fingers. With that being said, please enjoy our short film, Dream World of a Millennial.